What's up, everybody? As you can see, you probably noticed I got the same Boba Fett shirt on because I just noticed it. I'm just trying to address the elephant in the room. I really like this shirt. I bought it yesterday, so I'm wearing it another time. Sue me. I'm a guy. Sometimes I wear the same shirt for more than one day. Well, speaking about guys, because we're about to talk about men and women. I even needed coffee for this. There has been so much stuff going on, man. So much stuff. Like, it makes me even anxious just trying to talk to you about it. Because it's like, all these videos I've been watching with Kevin Samuels, MTR, Jubilee, who else? The Poor Man's Podcast. Even been watching some videos on the side about certain female coaches quitting.
So what you're saying is, once again, I'm taking the responsibility off of me and putting it on an outside entity so I don't have to do nothing. That's what you're saying.
And that's basically why, not basically why, is that why you chose not to do the whole business model that you had?
That's one of the main reasons. That's one of the main reasons.
Accountability.
And the type of men that they want, I have to tell them, everybody want a Boaz, but y'all don't remember. Y'all recall Boaz did die right shortly after he married a girl, right? Y'all don't remember that. Everybody want a Boaz, right? But you do know there is a John, Joseph type of guy. There's a Moses kind of guy. You know, there's a Bartholomew kind of guy. Y'all forget about all of these guys because you're trying to go after Boaz.
Yeah.
But you are more equipped for this type of other guy. Nahum and them.
Quitting, which is crazy. All because of this whole dynamic that's happening with men and women in the dating market. So, I felt like after all these videos that we've watched together, that I should at least have a conversation with you about it, my opinion, my perspective on it, why I've been looking into it so much. This is a real Spliff talk, you know, real Spliff talk. I might even, like, throughout this video show examples of what I'm talking about from other videos, because there's a lot of things, bro, a lot of things. But without holding too much of your time, let's get started. We got the Spliff, so we're going to smoke it while we talk, because this is a stressful discussion. Honestly, I don't even know where to start. I'm improvising this whole shit. I just feel like I need to talk about it, because it's like, this is stuff that I'm noticing in my personal life. I don't know if you're noticing it in your personal life, but I am. So, premise. I'm 29 years old. My name is Lucifer Constantine. I live in New Jersey, Jersey City. Grew up basically in Jersey and New York City because I know both of them like the back of my hand. You know, if you live in Jersey, then you're also a New Yorker if you spend just as much time in New York. In my opinion. I mean, I know more about New York than a lot of New Yorkers. I know how to drive there. I know how to go to a lot of places that most New Yorkers don't even know. But that's besides the point. Just kind of giving you a little bit of background so you can understand where I'm coming from when I'm talking about this stuff. So, what I find interesting, right? I'm 29 years old. Now, I don't know if you've seen my other videos, but in my other videos, I have mentioned before that I've had struggles with women. I've had struggles with myself. I've made a lot of bad decisions. I made a lot of bad mistakes. But just as equal, women in my life have made just the same amount of mistakes. And I can honestly say that because I raised myself. So everything about dating, everything about this life, everything about the world, I learned on my own. Through trial and error. Trial and error. For over 10 years. So I was fairly new to the modern day thinking of people when I was like 19. Because that's when I left my parents' house. Well, I left my parents' house at 18. Went into the military. Was in the military when I was 19, and that's when I really got to see the world for what it really was. The reason that sounds weird is because in my other videos I've mentioned that I grew up in a box. My parents were very strict Pentecostal Christians, so I did not know anything about the outside world except what my parents taught me. I had to learn everything. Cold turkeys, drown or swim in the ocean once I went to the military. So anyway, point I'm trying to get to is that all these things that Kevin Samuel talks about, that MTR talks about, I've seen it myself. I've seen it. I have experienced it. I have slept with 18 women in the past since I was 18, since I was 17, almost 18, because I lost my virginity the year I was going to turn 18. Like a couple months before. I lost my virginity in May when I was 17, and then I became 18 that year. So 18 women in about 10, 11 years, 12 years. Out of all of them, I have seriously dated like 5. And those 5 relationships lasted at most, out of all those relationships, one of them, which was my son's mom, my current ex, she was the first and only relationship I've ever had that I was with for 3 years. All my other relationships were like a year or less. Like I said, made a lot of mistakes, and there's a lot of psychology that goes behind it as well. It's not as simple as me jumping from relationship to relationship. There's a lot of things that go into this, which is why I'm talking about it, because there's a lot of things that I don't agree with when it comes to Kevin Samuels and MTR, and there's things that I do agree with. So let's just get down to it. I think I'm rambling a lot because I'm improvising while I'm talking about this, but let's start off with feminism, right? Kevin Samuels thinks himself as a feminist because he believes in women's choice and freedom of choice and equality, right? But freedom of equality in opportunity, not outcome, right? MTR is kind of like the same way, except I feel like MTR is a little bit more. He feels like he's more in the masculine role. He has no. It seems like he doesn't have much leeway when it comes to other perspectives, right? At least that's what I've understood. I gotta see more of his stuff. I haven't really been watching him for too long. This is just all surface stuff that I've been getting from watching all these videos, and I'm talking about my experience. So, I believe in feminism like Kevin Samuel. You have freedom to be whoever you want, and you have the same equal opportunity to be and do whatever you want. But in terms of equality, when it comes to biological things, like us being males, you being females, we can never be equal in that. And when it comes to outcome, we can never be equal in outcome because it always wavers. That kind of outcome, equality and outcome wavers for everyone. Doesn't matter what race you are, what sex you are, what pronoun you like using. When it comes to outcome, I'm not talking about opportunity or choice. When it comes to the outcome, the goal, the destination, it's not always going to be equal no matter what you do, because the world is the balance of chaos and order. That's what I believe. It's a chaos and order. You got to play the game. But everyone, for the most part, in my opinion, has the same opportunity to start at the same start line. You may not all get to the finish line at the same time, but you all start at the start line at the same time. That's how I see it. Next point. I don't think there's anything wrong with women not wanting to be the cooks or the chefs or the cleaners of the house. I do believe that women, all women, should have a general understanding of these things, but I don't believe that they should necessarily have to do these things. But here's where it gets complicated, right? And I'm talking about women first, then I'm gonna get to men. So, from my understanding, right? So we all know there are more women on the earth than there are men. In fact, someone told me that the ratio would be for every 4 boys, there's 11 girls. Right? Give or take. 4 boys, 11 girls. That sounds reasonable, right? Let's say out of those 4 boys, 2 of them are gay. And out of those 11 girls, 4 of them are gay. Right? Because girls, I'm going to say 4 or 5, because girls, they seem to be the ones who like to choose. Like, they're not like guys, where guys, you either know you're gay or you're not gay. You know, or you're bi-curious or you're not bi-curious. For girls, they can waver. Like, a girl could be saying she's straight, but she'll still, like, eat her best friend's pussy or some shit. You know, like, women are weird in that sense. So, let's say we got 2 straight guys left, and now we got 6 straight women left. You really think that all 6 of those women are going to find the right one? Or the soulmate? You know, we all believe in the soulmate thing. Or anything. 6 women per 2 men. Now that's an odd that sucks. If you believe in monogamy, if you believe that men are only meant to be with one girl, there has to be, I feel like in the world there's always going to be this balance of the one woman who's a wife and the women's that don't want to be wives. Those are the ones that get fucked or get pregnant. They don't grasp the concept of what it means to keep a man. All these things play into all this stuff, you know, because I don't just think about it from a individualized perspective of black and white, because there's so much gray area in this shit, right? Because let's say we take Kevin Samuels' approach, and most women, those 6 women, decided to stop going after the top 5% of men, because that's what it sounds like. Like, all these women, these 6 straight women that are left, don't even care about these 2 other men who are the middle class. They want to go after the one guy. All 6 of them want to go after the one guy, because let's say one of those kids is middle class, one of those kids is high class, right? Those 6 girls will ignore the middle class guy. That middle class guy will try to be friend zoned in the little circle, because he already knows they're going to go after the asshole who's in high class, who doesn't appreciate shit, because he's probably spoiled or he has a different perspective, and they think they can all fucking nail him. But that asshole will fuck all 6 of them and not marry not one. Instead, he'll go after the next generation, because he got all this money and this fame. And that's basically what these guys are trying to say, is that all the women are going after the same type of men. And those men are very limited. And most of the men, you wouldn't even want them. And it's true. It's so true that a lot of these girls are basing their choices off of shallowness. Like, you have no idea how many times I've been talking to my female friends. Fuck. I slept with the heater on, and it made my nose stuffy. Anyway, you don't know how many times with my female friends, with a lot of girlfriends, how many of these women will be so quick to open their legs to a guy just because he made them laugh, or just because he was sexy, or just because he said the right words. Like, the dude didn't even have to say what was his 5-year goal plan. He didn't have to talk about whether he had kids or not, or he had a girlfriend or not. Like, most of the women that I've known in Jersey and New York will sleep with a dude without knowing what his intentions are, what they want, whether they got kids, whether they got a girlfriend, whether they're a liar, whether they're not a liar. Like, most of these girls will sleep with them within the first day, within the first week, within the first month. It is fucking ridiculous, the shit that I've witnessed. I know women in my generation and younger who will stay with a guy because he has good dick game and because he's good looking, and completely ignore the fact that he doesn't care about her feelings, that he doesn't do shit around the house, that he doesn't contribute in any kind of way to her future. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I'm serious. I'm dead ass. I'm not trying to lie. I'm not trying to joke about this, because this bothers me. You know why it bothers me? Because I was that guy who grew up with an old school mentality, kind of like Kevin Samuels, where like, you know, I grew up believing that men had to be the providers, protectors, builders of the world, and women had to be the support, the complement, the ones who help with the children, all this stuff. But because I was so different, and I grew up with women, my mom, my two sisters, I kind of grew up with a simp mentality, where like I didn't care that girls did all these things or didn't, and I wanted to be the impressive man. I wanted to be the different man. I wanted to be the man who can cook, who can clean, who can do his laundry, who can do all this shit, be romantic, be good in bed, be poetic, all this stuff. Going down the list. That's all I lived for. Like, that's what was my motivation. And I did all these things. Mind you, I did all these things for all these girls. I was always cooking for them, working, being there, you know, doing what I gotta do, like everything. And most of these girls that I dated, I kid you not, wouldn't know how to clean, wouldn't want to clean, wouldn't want to learn one thing I fucking taught them when it came to the kitchen, when it came to anything in life. Most of these girls just wanted a guy to do everything for them and for them to just sit there and look pretty. Seriously. Most of these women, middle class women that I was dating, would want a man to have all these qualities that I was providing for them, and for them to not have to do not even almost 10% or 20%. Like, you know how stressful, you know how much debt I got into, how much money I fucking spent, how much time I fucking wasted on these girls because I was a nice guy, just because I was understanding, just because I took the time to always consider what they wanted, what they needed, what I could do for them. I was such a fucking simp, bro. That's why I was so mad in that video when I found out that I was a simp. Check that video out if you haven't checked it out, about what defines a simp. I forgot the name of the video. But yeah, I was a simp. I was simping a lot. Now, there was certain cases where I wasn't simping, and those cases were the ones where I didn't get with the girl in the relationship. But even with some of those girls, I always was one, always. I never slept with a girl on the first day that we met. Never. Never, ever, ever. Most of these girls I talked to for a while or went on a couple of dates before I had sex with them. Because for me, for myself, I didn't believe in just sleeping with anyone just because they were pretty. I wouldn't sleep with a girl on the first night just because she's fucking pretty. Like, I've seen so many bad things happen to other dudes for doing that shit. You know? And when you think, and the one thing that I'm glad that I learned was to not always think with your dick. Even though most of the time I was thinking with my dick and still making mistakes. At least sometimes I wasn't thinking with my dick. At least when it came to that. At least when it came to like sleeping with a girl for the first night. I know that most dudes would have jumped at the opportunity, like, fuck it, pussy's pussy. But me, not so much. Maybe that's my simp mentality. I don't know. I always believed that it was because I liked being a gentleman. A lot of my role models were knights, were Shakespearean, you know, people from the old days. That's why I had an old mentality. So I tried my best to develop myself as a gentleman, and that's probably why a lot of these things happen too. But it wasn't just women too. It's men as well. Like, I've had more female friends in my life for the simple fact that most niggas nowadays won't even be able to be a genuine brother to you because they'll steal your girl, especially in the ghetto where I grew up. Patterson, Jersey City, New York, Queens, Brooklyn. It don't matter where the fuck you at in this area. You gotta, when you grow up like me, like I grew up with like from different school to different schools to different schools. So I never had any stability in my life. So I don't know what it's like to have like a long lasting best friendship or nothing. Like, yeah, I have best friends and I label them that because I have a different criteria since I had to like grow up differently than everyone else. But most of my guy friends would choose being in a relationship rather than spend time with me as a friend. Mind you, in all my relationships, didn't matter how many bitches I was with or who I was with, I always took the time to spend time with my guy friends and invite them over, to the point where some of my girlfriends would get fucking mad when I would take time out to spend money and help my friends out. But that's because, you know, they were all mooching off of me, and I was just too gullible and too nice and too generous to even care. You know, I had, you know, what would Jesus do mentality. So that's why that happened. But most of my guy friends, like I had a discussion with one of my friends recently, telling him, you know, he was asking me if we're still best friends. I told him, I didn't tell him we're not best friends, but I told him you lost points. You lost points because we went from hanging out all the time to now you just calling me all the time, which is perfectly fine that you're calling me and you're keeping in contact and whatnot. But the fact that you would rather take your time almost every weekend for the past year to go get pussy or try to get pussy instead of hanging out with your bro who's fucking miserable and depressed in his house was a no-no for me, and I called him out on it. Because that's how most niggas are nowadays. That's what I grew up with. Most niggas in this environment only care about themselves. They only care about money or pussy and control. Most of these niggas are so insecure, got mommy issue, wherever the fuck it is, that they can't even handle being alone. They just gotta jump from pussy to pussy to pussy. It's fucking ridiculous. And they all fucking simping. None of them pimping. They all simping too. Worse than me. Worse than me. Because they get themselves into some toxic, horrible fucking situations. Situations that I'm glad I never got myself into. But I've been in some horrible situations as well because of my own stupidity. I'll be the first to admit it. But it's crazy. It's crazy to me because it's like, all right, we both know men have to blame, women got to blame. But where does it start? Where does it end? How do we even solve it? Like, does it really fall on the women to straighten these men out? Maybe. Because it seems like women are the only ones out there who are actually trying to be productive, have an individualistic mentality and intelligence. Maybe not all of them, but for the most part, from what I've witnessed, women have been kind of like the guiding force for why some of these men actually, like, you know, get their shit together. Because they found the right woman to, like, nip that shit in the butt. You know? And then other men are being enabled by all these toxic women. All these women that don't care about nothing but marriage, but money, marriage, and the way you look. Like, I saw a video about Tinder, right? Where the boyfriend and the girlfriend were comparing who gets the most matches or likes when they start swiping at the same time. The girl got a match like almost every 5 minutes or less. Do you know that when I was trying online dating for a long time, I got to a point where I started swiping yes to everybody. Yes, just to see who I would match with. Tell me how I would match with one person after like maybe 100, 1,000 fucking swipes yes. And it's always a bitch that I'm not even attracted to. Physically. Always a bitch. So that means all the pretty bitches that I am attracted to are going after all the pretty niggas that don't give a fuck about them. Like, it's fucking nuts to me, bro. It's nuts. It upsets me. It upsets me not because I care about my own dating life. I know what I want, and I'm willing to wait. I'm a patient person. I've been through 18 women. That's more than enough for me to be like, you know what? I made enough mistakes that at this point, I got to start taking responsibility for them, move forward, focus on my business. Like MTR said, that's exactly what I was doing. I was like, fuck dating for now. I got to get my shit together, get my money together. Fuck it if I suffer. Fuck it if I suffer. Because, like, I've been wasting my money, my time. I'm 29. I got to do my YouTube channel. I got to do everything I got to do. Be there for my son. I don't got time to waste time on bitches that ain't shit. Especially now when I've seen all this fucking bullshit. But what really concerns me is, like, my son. Other men. You know, because I'm an empath. So, like, I feel for other people. I like helping other people. So it's like, how the fuck do we help these people? How do we help them see what they're doing? How do we get them to learn to avoid it, you know? You know what I always found interesting is that nobody ever really talks about astrology or numerology when it comes to dating. Like, everyone wants to date and talk about all these principles about the roles, the hierarchy, masculine, feminine. But why the fuck nobody want to... We live in a world of knowledge, bro. A world of knowledge with so much information. How the fuck we haven't correlated that maybe, just maybe, astrology would help a lot. You may not believe in it, but if you actually study that shit, because from my experience, most people who say they don't believe in astrology, oh, whatever. I don't care about your sign. Those are the ones who make the most mistakes. It's very rare for someone to find the right person for themselves without using astrology. They have to be at the right time, right place, right environment. But now we do got astrology. And most people don't want to fucking use it. And I know how to use it. Most of you don't even know that your personality is not based off your sun sign. It's based off all your signs. Your sun, your moon, your Mercury, your Venus, your Mars, all of it. And they all matter. And they all contribute to your personality traits and what you do and your patterns. If you actually took the time to understand it, you will be a lot more enlightened about your choices like I am. It took me a lot of these years, but like I said, I did everything by myself. You know? But I went by myself to look for these things to help me. Because I had nobody. I had to fucking read these books. I had to fucking look into myself and try to understand my psychology. Take therapy. You know? So a lot of you should be doing this shit, but you're not doing it. What are you doing? You're getting distracted. You're fucking on social media. You're drinking. You're going to clubs. You're doing all this fucking bullshit to distract you from the fucking problems that are going to catch up to you when you finally get into a relationship. You see how serious I am about this shit? It's because it's concerning, bro. You think I want my son to grow up into an environment where women are going to choose him because of the way he looks? My son is cute as fuck. He's handsome. And he's going to have my talents. He's going to be as great as me. You think I want him to fucking get his heart broken by some shallow bitch? Fuck no. You think I want him to get influenced by fucking shallow men? Fuck no. Something's got to give. I'm going to homeschool that nigga if fucking people don't change. Because, like, it's bad on both ends. Either my son's going to get influenced by niggas who don't know what the fuck they're talking about because they got bad parenting. Or he gets influenced by all the fucking shallow bitches who also got bad parenting. Who are fucking influenced by social media, you know, society, all this fucking materialistic bullshit. Like, I've said it before. Why do we live in a time where we got all this money, all this fucking opportunity, all this shit that we could be using for our benefit? We got women to have free rights, free choice, equal fucking opportunity. Why are all these bitches fucking wasting their time trying to be hoes? We gave you freedom and power so you didn't have to be a hoe. And yet you're choosing to be a hoe anyway. Posting your fucking pictures online, being half naked, having sex with these niggas for 10 grand. Like, what the fuck? And then niggas are the same way. You got opportunity, you're a man, the fucking world belongs to you. And what are you doing? Selling drugs. Wasting your time on the fucking streets. Breaking hearts. Involved with fucking gangs and all this fucking shit. Trying to be a rapper, rapping about drugs and like you fucking hard, like you a gangster, like you some badass motherfucker. All of you don't know shit, bro. Y'all don't know shit. Y'all get lost in your fucking environment and don't fucking explore out of it. You leave it, you stay in your fucking shells. You stay in your fucking shells. For what? For what? What are we really doing with this fucking life of ours? We're just letting the government and the high class people just do whatever the fuck they want? Is that what we're doing? What happened to actually to taking the time to enlighten yourself, to educate yourself? Why the fuck do we have so many ignorant ass people when we have so much fucking information, bro? YouTube, Google. You don't have to believe everything, but you can use your own intuition, your own knowledge to decipher what is right for you, what is wrong, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. But all of you are too fucking lazy. Way too fucking lazy. It's fucking ridiculous. Then people like me, people like Kevin Samuels, people like MTR, people like all these fucking female coaches have to sacrifice our life because we care, because we're generous people, because we're empathic, we can't help it, we got a big heart, we got to live with it, to help most of you out. And what do? You really making a change, or you just fucking wishful thinking? You know? There's 3 W's. The wishful thinkers, the waiters. Well, no. Watchers, wishful thinkers, and waiters. That's how I categorize it. The only way you're not one of those 3 things is if you're a doer. If you're a doer, you don't belong in the list. But if you're a watcher, a wisher, and a waiter, enough said, bro. Enough said. A lot of people like to opinionate shit, but they don't really like look into it. They don't really look into it. And I feel like there's more. There's more that has to be done. It's not as simple as women got to know what their roles are, men got to know what their roles are. No. How are men and women going to know what their roles are if they've been raised by a bunch of fucking idiots? They've been influenced by idiots. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep watching all this stuff because I like learning. And I'll be the first to admit that I'm wrong if I find something that changes the way that I see things. But I'm going to have to be the example. Like, that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm going to have to be the example to, like, educate these people on what really matters, on the things they really should be paying attention to, because it's ridiculous. Like, I don't want to be a pimp. I don't want to be a bad boy to get a girl's attention. I want to be me. Me. Whoever I want to be, that's who I want to be. And I want a girl that falls in love with whoever I choose to be. Just like all these bitches want niggas to love them for who they are, consider their fucking emotional, chaotic mind, and all this fucking shit. You guys want everyone to cater to you? That's what I want. I want a woman who caters to me. Why? Because I know I will cater to them. It's 100-100, not 50-50, not 80-20. It's 100-100. 100-100. 200 together. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. Sorry if I came off strong. Sorry if I offended anybody. It's not my intention to. I'm not gonna apologize about my opinion. I'm saying sorry as in, like, sorry that you feel the way you do or think the way that you do. You gotta do something about it. Or just don't agree with me. You don't have to agree with anything I said. You can unsubscribe, you can do whatever you want. But if you do like what I'm talking about, if you agree with me, let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. Send me some videos that you want me to check out. Whatever it is, you know? Whatever it is. But I'm going to leave it here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Sorry throughout this conversation you hear this. But this shit is uncomfortable, man. It's like, you know, I got a butt that's cushioned, but this shit doesn't have a pillow. It's just flat wood. It's a stool with flat wood on it, and sometimes sitting on it hurts my butt. But enough of that. I love you guys. Take care. See you in the next episode. Peace out.